because I'm not saying what the media wants me to say. We're fighting for
You're definitely
yes.
saying what the media wants you to say because it drives headlines and clickbait because of how outrageous it is. What I'm saying is, I just hope that you're taking care of yourself for your kids and the
No,
people you
we're not
care
gonna
about,
make
because what you're saying is not
yo,
right
that's
and not
unfair.
decent.
It has been an amazing week for the Jewish people, and I'm being very sarcastic. If you didn't pick up on that, I'm telling you now. First, Kanye West decides to go full-on anti-Semite. Then former President of the United States, Donald Trump, decides to one-up him. Then Kanye West decides to one-up him by threatening the Jewish people. And then it is made worse, of course, by the media, as Chris Cuomo on his new show decides to give Kanye a live platform for 20 minutes. And then, of course, made even worse by Tucker Carlson giving him an even bigger platform and changing some very important facts. Let's start with the first one, Kanye. Kanye first started by going on a torrent recently of anti-Semitic statements, saying old tropes and complaints about the Jews control the media. Some people say to me, old high school friends of mine who are smart people said to me today in DM, what's the problem with that if they're just stating a list of people that run companies? Well, let me tell you a few things. First of all, it's not true. Jewish people don't control the media. And if there are a lot of Jewish people in leadership positions in a particular field or a particular industry, you still need a very good reason to point out that those people are there and to claim it as a bad thing, to say it in a derisive way. Why is it bad? From little effects. Like, let me talk about me personally. I'm Jewish. I'm a Jewish man, and right now, my dream job just opened up again for the second time in history, basically, hosting The Daily Show. I'm hoping to be considered for that job. Well, when you make accusations that there's too many Jews in power and media positions, now I'm afraid that a company like Comedy Central might feel pressure to not give a prominent media role to a Jewish person, when in fact I'm just a regular person too, and should be considered fairly as much as anybody else. So there's small effects like that. And also let me dispel the rumor that all us Jews have money because I'm publicly asking for a job. So there's that. But that's just my story. For every single Jewish person, there might be something that they are hoping to climb in their life in a way, and when a public figure with massive influence decides to marginalize that group, to other that group, and make them seem like they are some sort of nefarious force, it makes life much harder for that group of people. So then, a former president who used to do the things as former presidents would, like build houses or help after natural disasters, instead, our natural disaster of a former president keeps making things worse for different groups of people, depending what week it is. This week, it's the Jewish people. Thank you, Mr. President.
On his social media platform, Truth Social, Trump says, quote, "No president has done more for Israel than I have." Somewhat surprisingly, however, our wonderful evangelicals are far more appreciative of this than the people of the Jewish faith, especially those living in the U.S. More ominously, Trump says later in his post, quote, "U.S. Jews have to get their act together and appreciate what they have in Israel before it is too late."
We can't thank you enough as one monolithic group that apparently, according to you, thinks all the same. Trump posted on his very stupid, very bigoted social media platform that Jews have to get it together and start appreciating what they have in Israel before it's too late. Is that a threat? Or are you just saying we're going to lose the country that the Jewish people were given after the Holocaust if we all don't get on board with, as he also wrote in the post, appreciating him more for what he did for Israel? Well, I got news for you. First of all, the world doesn't revolve around you. Secondly, not all Jewish people feel the same. We are not a monolithic group. In fact, I'm not only Jewish, but I'm also Israeli. Did you know that? And guess what? I happen to be pro-Israel, and at the same time I can have a nuanced view and also feel that the Israeli government has done some very bad things to Palestinian people who deserve a state and deserve to be treated better by the Israeli government. But I can still think that Israel has a right to exist and that that should be recognized by the Palestinian people. And aside from my own personal view, Jews all around the world and in the United States all over can have different opinions. Israel doesn't have to be very important to some of them. Some of them can think the Israeli government has done nothing wrong, and some can think that they've done a lot wrong. And we don't have to get on board with any one point of view simply because of our religion, simply because of our cultural affiliation. We're able to make decisions on our own, and you should know that. But maybe you don't, because you're also the president who said there are very fine people on both sides of a white supremacist rally saying Jews will not replace us. So that's where he stands. So then, of course, Kanye West has to one-up him by going even more violent, not even veiled, but saying, I'm going full DeathCon 3, not DEFCON, DeathCon 3 on the Jews. Maybe don't mention Jews and death and trying to create that for the Jewish people when you wake up in the morning after your sleepy nap, just because you're having a breakdown and your life isn't going well, and so you decide to scapegoat an entire group of people and put them at risk. Why is it put them at risk? Because when you, a person of influence, post that you have negative feelings towards a group of people, an entire religion of people, that's going to make people that are even dumber than you think it's okay to start hating that group of people. When you then take it to the next step, as made worse by Chris Cuomo on his new show on News Nation, having Kanye on from his car for 20 straight minutes, unedited, interviewing him, you are platforming a person who is established and admitted on his own he is mentally ill, and letting him, during a manic episode, go and tear down a group of people by one-upping his language and saying, oh, the Jewish people are the ones who run the entire record industry and they're modern-day slavers.
There's so many black musicians signed to Jewish record labels, and those Jewish record labels take ownership not only of the publishing, like how MC Search is selling Nas publishing right now, but also ownership of the culture itself. It's like, oh, that's mine. This guy signed to me. It's like a modern day slavery. And I'm calling it out. That's what DEFCON 3 meant. I'm gonna call it out. It didn't mean I wish any harm on my
Yeah, you say you're going DEFCON 3 on them. Look, I'm out of time on this. I wanted to give you a platform to explain it.
Wait a second. I just said what I meant. Did you want me to say what I meant?
I hear you. You said what you meant. I'm just telling you how I take it and how I think other people are taking it, and how I think how your friends who are Jewish are going to take it.
What do you mean take it? I just came and said and explained this is what I meant by it. I meant I'm calling out all these contracts.
I know, but just because you're calling it out doesn't mean it's true. It's just what your opinion is. That's all I'm saying.
Interesting. I didn't know that slavers made millionaires of their slaves and let them express their music and create their music completely freely. But that's not even the point. How dare you go on television and accuse a people who are good, kind people who have fought alongside black people for freedom and for equal treatment in this country and around the world, as the Jewish people have been allies to black people as far back as anyone can remember. And then how dare Chris Cuomo have him on for 20 minutes? Look, these people are public figures with influence, Trump and Kanye. And so when they say or tweet or post anti-Semitic things or dangerous things or racist things, it does make news and it should be covered. But that is a far cry different from then putting somebody on your air for 20 minutes and giving them a chance to say and spew horrible things like that. At least I do hand it to Chris Cuomo for, if you're going to do that, he challenged him a lot. He asked him if he's taking care of his mental health. He asked him if he's being the best person he could say he can be, and he said that because the things he is saying are despicable and not true. And then, of course, one of the worst people of them all, Tucker Carlson, wanted in on the action and wanted to trump, pun intended, everybody else by having Kanye on for 2 back-to-back nights. Almost an hour-long interview aired where he specifically cut out especially disturbed, mentally disturbed, and unwell things that Kanye said to make him seem more palatable, to make him seem not unhinged.
And now you look up and my kids are going to a school that teaches black kids a complicated Kwanzaa. I prefer my kids knew Hanukkah than Kwanzaa. At least it will come with some financial engineering.
And specifically to say he was not unhinged, to specifically say on his air, you make your own mind up, but our conclusion was that he was just fine. He has his own ideas, but crazy? No, not at all. When he edited out the craziest things that he said, do you understand how harmful that is? To quote Mediaite, who said it best, to recap, Carlson interviewed someone who has spoken publicly about their mental health issues. He sat and listened to that person spew anti-Semitic comments. He edited those comments out and aired the parts of the interview he liked, and concluded West is someone worth listening to. So now all the people that are influenced by Tucker Carlson think maybe West isn't as crazy as the media is reporting him to be with his anti-Semitic, dangerous comments. Maybe we should listen to what he says and give more credence to the fact that he thinks Jews should be the recipients of DEFCON 3 and that the Jewish-controlled media is a problem for some reason in your life. Oh, really? Did you not make it as an incredibly successful person in the music industry, Kanye West? Or are you just freaking out now that you've become a pariah and are no more newsworthy to be interviewed by any channel than any other ex of Kim Kardashian? You're basically Chris Humphries now, bro. You're no better than Ray J at this point, dude. And those people don't get platforms on the news. So, of course, somebody who is mentally unwell can and will go on deranged, bigoted, unpleasant, harmful rants. But the news doesn't have to cover it. And once they do, then it is our obligation to respond to it and squelch any implication that what they are saying is okay. And you don't do that by giving someone a platform live to spew more of it. Do you not see how dangerous that is? Clearly you don't, because you get to make money off of it. You should be ashamed. I'm Ben Gleib. I'm an Israeli Jewish person. I'm proud of my background, but I'm more proud of being a human being that treats all people equally and cares about all people equally and makes fun of all people equally when they deserve it. Not because they're a member of a group.